Hi, Alpha Recaps here. Today we are going to explain Immaculate Room. A mysterious Dr. Voyan has announced a brand new experiment in which couples need to stay in an immaculate room for 50 days. If they accomplished assignment, they will be rewarded with $5 million, but if one of them leaves, the prize money drops to only $1 million. There is no contact to the outside world, no enjoyment. They simply have each other's company. However, they can purchase treats by means of paying with part of the prize money. Today's couple is Mike and Kate, who take it as smooth task and free cash. Mike thinks they have been lucky to find this occasion, and Kate sees it as the most important chance of their lives. Furthermore, she also stated that perhaps they should cut up the cash to make things less difficult. Her plan is to invest the cash, which Mike thinks is quite dull. He desires to experience his future partying and having a terrific time while not having to worry about money ever again. An AI voice reminds them the rules. They explore the place and notice that the entirety is white, and that's why they referred to as it immaculate. The only items there are a bed and a bench. There is additionally a simple white toilet, and according to rules they could enter one at a time. If they need to leave, they need to press a red button, a touch screen where they could request treats, and a large clock above the door that counts down the remaining time in the experiment. Their food are designed to cover their day-by-day dietary requirements and are simply flavorless white shake that is available in a white packaging. The room additionally comes with automated lighting that change during the day to have an effect on as morning, afternoon, evening, and nighttime. This means that they need to go to sleep. The touch screen permits them to set up an alarm clock. Whilst Mike plans to deal with this as a holiday and sleep late, Kate sets up an early alarm so she will be able to have some experience of routine. Once they visit bed on their first night, Mike tries to get busy with Kate, but she's concerned that they may be watched by the professor. Since Mike insists, they end up doing it quietly under the covers. When morning comes, Kate is going to the bathroom. She looked within the mirror and recites some phrases of affirmation to hold her spirits up. When they both shower, they throw their garments into the toilet's laundry chute, and in trade they get hold of very simple pajamas, despite the fact that at the least these have a few color. To maintain themselves busy, Kate asks why Voyan is doing this type experiment. Mike tells her about the documentary he noticed about this man's previous test that ended with a blue-collar family in tragedy. No person knows why Voyan did all this. They only know he's got a whole lot of money and he liked the use of it to put human beings in unique conditions because he is intrigued by the human situation. Retaining themselves busy will become a huge problem sooner than they expect. Kate loves to meditate while Mike stares at the clock every now and then. He also is going on philosophical tangents about numerous subjects, just like the meaning of the color white, which he analyzes with all his art school know-how, or the direction in which they must be brushing their teeth. Kate constantly tells him to prevent watching the clock and focus on the price, but it is hard to think positively while Mike would not sleep properly, trying to make Mike satisfied. When Kate meditates, Mike also attempts to work out, especially running. Together, they play hand-clapping games, Marco Polo, dance. Each time they take off my dirty pajamas, they get another pair that look precisely the same. Weeks passed, and ultimately something else happened. Mike discovered a bug that had sneaked into the room. After Mike talks to him, Mike attempts to feed him a meal shake, but as soon as he spills some drops on the floor, the AI's voice tells him that the food is only for them to consume. Concerned about the bug not surviving in here, Mike requests some way of letting the little guy out, promising he doesn't want to go away. Kate explains to him that the speaker the AI's voice is coming through does not seem to be two-way. She has already attempted it, and Mike decides to press the button to open the door. This provokes an argument, as Kate is convinced that Mike will not really depart, but even if he reaches for his stupid mistake, she will be able to also lose her prize if he presses the button. After placing it in, he tells Kate that bugs are living things and that she has no sympathy, and accuses Kate of condescending because she is not a vegan like him. As the argument gets louder, Kate confesses she thinks Mike is best vegan because of the fact he wants to piss off his well-off dad who have Mike the entirety he needed. Therefore he in no way suffered, and now he wants to have artsy avenue art cred. Then Kate tries to stroll away from this conversation, but she eventually ends up stepping on the bug, and Mike has trouble believing her while she says it was an accident and apologizes. Mike spends the rest of his day sulking in a nook until he ultimately comes to a decision. He has had sufficient doing nothing. It is simply not healthy. For the reason that each of them can take treats, Mike goes to invite for one, no matter the fact that takes out $100,000 off their prize. Kate does not approve, but Mike doesn't need her permission, and his deal with ends up being a single green crayon. It is now not a lot, but at the least now Mike can do his art on the walls. After seeing him draw for some time, Kate asks him to draw her, and Mike accepts. However, he refuses to do realistic images because they're dull. He prefers to stick to his style, causing Kate no longer to need to model for him anymore. Mike draws until there can be no crayon left. pissing Kate off while he leaves green stains throughout the toilet and the towel at the ground. Later, Kate apologizes for having behaved like a twat and explains that is more difficult than she thought, but they only have 20 days left. Days keep to pass in boredom until one morning Kate wakes up to discover a gun inside the bathroom. They are too scared to test if it is loaded and its presence is haunting, so that they determine to hide it under the mattress due to the fact the AI forbids them to place items that are not clothes inside the laundry chute. Sometime later, the couple is ultimately rewarded with connect time in order to play for them messages sent by their loved ones. Mike gets a message from his sister who tells him how she and their parents are doing, but she additionally thinks Mike is not dating Kate anymore. Seeing his sister makes Mike very happy. However, Kate would not need a connection of her own and panics while the display puts a video of her dad, who's ultimately off the streets and living in a homeless shelter. Because the video won't stop no matter how much she asks, Kate runs to cover behind the restroom and cry, and Mike comes over to comfort her. After napping by clinging desperately to her boyfriend, Kate does not rise up whilst the alarm declares the morning and stays in bed all day due to the fact she's fallen into a depressed state. While Mike expresses his concerns, Kate tells him she hadn't seen her father in years and she always lied to Mike about who he was due to the fact she was ashamed of her dad and the way he drank away the house, her college fees, and her chances of developing up like a normal person. With only a touch over weeks to move, Kate still remains in bed even as Mike tries to find new methods to entertain himself, like editing his drawings through smudging the crayon together with his hands or analyzing the pajama label in as many emotions as possible like those acting exercises. He attempts to make Kate eat through making some jokes about the meals, but it's pointless, so he ends up joining her in mattress in hopes he can comfort her. It still doesn't work, and Mike once in a while decides to sleep at the floor simply to sense something extraordinary. One morning, he tries to convince Kate to take a treat, but she refuses to lose that cash. Developing increasingly frustrated, Mike mentions he is not certain he can do this anymore, and that ultimately evokes Kate to get away from bed. Before she takes a bath though, she tells Mike to take his second treat, although charges $250,000. Mike does so and is stunned to see the door open to allow a naked girl named Simone enter the room. She does not know whatever the project, she's simply an actress getting paid for this act. She's likely staying for 24 hours. Kate doesn't like her presence very much and makes Mike provide her his t-shirt so Simone can cover up at the least a bit. Simone notices Mike's artwork and praises it, even recognizing the impacts, which pisses Kate off extra. When nighttime falls, Mike offers to sleep on the floor even as the girls take the bed and Simone offers to stay awake while they sleep. Kate is irritated by this, makes a decision they can all share the bed as she sleeps in between them. That night, it is Kate the one to have problems sleeping. In the morning, Kate does not find Simone at the bed and thinks she's gone. However, she's in the toilet. Not being capable of take it anymore, Kate makes a decision to take a treat and receives a little container with 3 fun candies. Kate immediately takes one and offers one to Simone. However, Mike only accepts one too after lots of hesitation. The 3 of them start dancing and flailing across the room. They also share a few group kisses. However, after some time, Mike begins going through a bad experience, seeing blood everywhere and dreaming he is underwater, even as seeing his younger brother fall with him. The girls carry Mike back to reality, but he's still panicking and asking to leave while bringing up something about Sean and drowning. Kate has to pull him back to bed and comfort him until he's asleep. After that, Simone asks what Mike were talking about, and Kate tells her Mike's little brother Sean drowned in the family's pool while Mike was meant to babysit him, which makes him sense guilty still today. Mike have been high when it happened, which adds to the injury and explains why he have been hesitant to accept the candy in the first place. Simeone also asks how they met, and Kate recollects fondly how on a wet day she had no umbrella and Mike came to her, offering to catch all the raindrops so she would not get wet. Whilst Mike eventually wakes up, Simone shares that she lost her mom while she was a kid, and the of them bond over grief and lost loved ones. Simone takes Mike's hand to comfort him, and while Kate sees them, she freaks out, wondering Simone desires to steal her boyfriend. Simone calls her mindset out, stating that Kate lashes out due to the fact she's actually an insecure individual, which begins an argument. Mike yells at them to stop before walking away. Kate tries to make an apology, admitting it was probably nothing that she saw, yet Simone fanatics the flames by saying maybe it wasn't. In the morning, Mike isn't feeling good, but Kate is concentrated on other things. Simone is subsequently long past, but there's additionally a message from her on the wall on green crayon thanking Mike for a wild nighttime. Kate freaks out, not listening to Mike when he explains he did not do something and that is just like the gun, something the room is doing to mess with them. In her anger, Kate pushes Mike to the ground, making him hurt his head and bleed. Mike steps away from her, reminding her that he is by no means cheated on her even if she moved to New York. Irritable and didn't didn't finish college to live at home along with her while she became depressed, yet all he receives in return is jealousy. Crying, Kate maintains to make an apology, but their conversation is interrupted while Mike begins feeling dizzy from the wound. He certainly thinks he needs a physician, however Kate brings him a number of the meal shake so he can add some sugar in his system and covers his wound with a towel, reminding Mike that the agreement said they don't have allowance for medical. Mike can't believe what he is listening to, and he begins questioning if Kate simply cares. His wound seems to be small and it subsequently stops bleeding, however he is frightened of how far she might have long gone if it had been worse. Possibly she could have let him bleed for cash. Hating what this place has done to them and realizing money isn't always going to restore how broken they truly are, Mike comes to a decision to depart, inviting Kate to do the same. Kate refuses, although pointing out it is easy for him to talk like this due to the fact he's always had money, and she or he even retrieves the gun to threaten him into staying. However, Mike ignores her and presses the button, eventually leaving the room only some days before victory. After lots of laying around and freaking out in the shower, Kate sees the raindrop drawing at the wall, inspiring her to approach the button too and consider her options with only 2 days left. Many months later, a now single Mike is going for a run when he sees Kate coming out of a constructing. They have not seen each other since the room and decide to go for a walk to talk and catch up, but while Mike asks Kate if she left the room or won, she dodges the question. At the least, she offers an apology for what took place. As they walk away, the building is found out to be the homeless refuge, which has a plaque saying an anonymous donation allowed them to construct the new kitchen. In the meantime, in the Immaculate Room, a new couple arrives to take the challenge.